America had a very strong democratic potential due to the fact that it did not have a hereditary aristocracy, had less powerful churches, and had a wide distribution of property. Therefore, the revolution allowed America's political experiments to begin.
Taxes should be imparted on the state to give money to the church.
Absolutely not. There should be a separation of church and state. The government should have no responsibility in maintaining your church.
Watch yourself, peasant! I am a member of the Delancey family.
Sir, Delancey, how dare you? You're not entitled or privileged. This is the new America. This is not British America. We are all equal. Understand that?
Pish posh!
After the revolution, the idea of liberty was used to challenge established institutions. Also, the idea of equality with its radical notions emerged with Jefferson's statement that all men were created equal. Even though inequality was seen as fundamental in both Britain and the colonies, the revolutionary ideas challenged it. Through the use of equality and liberty, marginalized groups expanded demands, and previous restrictions on freedom seemed illegitimate. Thus, the use of equality to justify a political movement is most clearly seen in the democratization of liberty, which challenged the notion that political participation should be limited to property holders, and it is also seen in the development of the idea of democracy in post-revolutionary America. Democracy in the Revolution was used to express the popular aspirations for greater equality. This led to discussion of universal male suffrage and the conversion of many state militias, which were composed of lower orders, into schools of political democracy, which let the army men elect all officers and vote on public officials whether or not they met property qualification. This further pushed the idea of service in the army being able to enable excluded groups to make a stake to full citizenship.
I joined the militia, and now I can vote too, due to the democratization of liberty movement.
I'm a poor farmer, and according to Jefferson's words, all men are created equal. I deserve the right to vote too. So I think you two, the political body of America, should give me equal rights to all the rich in this country. We'll think about it.
Right after the revolution, all states shared a common belief that government should be Republican, but the question leading to experimentation was, to what extent? So that led to states adopting different beliefs and bodies of government, even constitutions that were written differently. For example, Pennsylvania was radical, and it supported a unicameral or one legislative body, which represented its whole populace under one roof. On the other hand, many states and leaders like John Adams of Massachusetts believed that government should be bicameral. He wrote an essay on the thoughts of government, which expressed that society should be separated into two bodies as legislative, one supported by the higher class and one supported by the lower class.
Your writings are very wrong, John Dickinson. There should be a separation of legislature between the rich and the poor.
Look, John, I understand. I feel like everyone should be represented equally. Thus, in one legislative body is the best.
You are so wrong! You filthy radical!
I'm not a conservative, at least.
Voting and office holding was a highly contentious topic in post-war America. Conservative patriots fought vigorously to restore and maintain the social and economic requirements of the right to vote, such as owning land. Among these conservatives was John Adams, who believed that freedom and equality were polar opposites, and that both cannot exist at once in a society. He believed men without property had no judgment, and that allowing these men to vote would destroy society as a whole. He opposed the New Democratic Radicals, who feverishly worked to establish a new system on voting, one that did not have these traditional requirements. Among them was one of the most radical Democrats, Thomas Paine. Democratization occurred the least in the southern states of America, as the aristocracy of landowners held fast to their reins over the government. In Virginia and South Carolina, property requirements for voting remained, and the aristocracy even gained more power as they were now able to elect the governor of their states. However, in some northern states, democratization held some more sway in the unstable post-war environment. Vermont was the only to completely remove financial requirements from voting, abolishing a necessity for property ownership as well as having to be a tax-paying citizen. Pennsylvania held the tax requirement, but did away with that of landowning, which allowed for a large number of people who previously could not vote to do so, and elevated personal liberty in these states. Democratization greatly increased the number of eligible voters in the states. By the 1780s, a majority of the white male population met voting requirements in their states. The new constitution also created more legislative seats, allowing lower status men to hold political office, a stark contrast from before. During the Revolution, freedom and the right to vote had become almost interchangeable terms, and many declared them to be inseparable. Political freedom was now not only a people's right to be ruled by chosen representatives, but also the right of individual citizens to participate in government.
I cast my ballot, good sir.
Yes, sir. Have a good day.
You too.
You don't meet the landowning requirements. Get out of here. You're not allowed to vote.
Did you hear they allow those peasants to vote now?
No, I will never allow them to vote. Never, ever. Wait.
According to the new voting requirements, I can vote too, so just
No.
let go.
That's injustice.
No.
Experimentation of government, constitutions, and legislative bodies finally came to an end in one iconic moment in history. It was called the Constitutional Convention of 1787. This convention was brought together by our founding fathers who created the first constitution and most iconic line, "We the people." So this event combined important beliefs into one idea. It created the three-body legislative with a new idea of checks and balances, and also it equally represented states according to their populace, which was given through the Great Compromise.